There's no denying that pet owners have a very special relationship with their beloved fur babies. Pet owners, well, at least the good ones, will do just about anything to make sure that their animals are happy and healthy. Unfortunately, fur babies can get really sick too. This pet owner received the worst news possible about the animal she loved the most. But instead of crying until he passed, she decided to do something to make the rest of his life as beautiful as possible. It was 2012, and a woman named Cynthia from the Burlington, Vermont area took a major step in the responsibility department. She decided it was time to expand her family. She figured that the best way to do that was by bringing an adorable puppy into the mix. His name was Finn. He was only a few weeks old, and Cynthia fell in love. Cynthia and Finn were inseparable from the very beginning. They were the best of friends, and Finn became her rock when her father passed away due to cancer. Cynthia felt that she could not have picked a better dog. And if he could talk, Finn would say the same thing about her. Soon enough, Cynthia fell in love with a man named Robert. It wasn't long before Robert was part of the family, and Finn was leading the way on family adventures. But after a while, Robert and Cynthia realized it was time for Finn to have a little brother or sister. This family of three grew to four when they adopted a beautiful puppy named Yogi. Finn and Yogi instantly became best friends. Everything was going perfect for the family, but they would soon find out the heartbreak was around the corner. After a visit to the vet, Cynthia and Robert received some devastating news about Finn. Finn was only 6 years old, but he was diagnosed with lymph node cancer. Sadly, the cancer was terminal. Cynthia and Robert were crushed, but they knew they had to make the rest of Finn's life as beautiful as possible. The first thing they did was order Finn a care package from the Live Like Rue Foundation. The Live Like Rue Foundation financially and emotionally helps families that have animals that have been diagnosed with cancer. They send care packages to sick pets that include items such as tennis balls, handmade blankets, McDonald's gift cards, and plush toys. Cynthia and Robert wanted to do more for Finn than buy him presents though, so they hatched a plan. Putting their heads together, they came up with a bucket list for Finn. Finn was about to live out the rest of his life in the best way possible, and they were excited to make it happen. There were 50 things on Finn's bucket list. Of course, some of his favorite things to do were on the list, like hiking or walking along the beach. But there were also things on the list that Finn had never done before. With his best friend Yogi by his side, Finn was getting ready to go on some pretty amazing adventures. His first stop would be on a tethered hot air balloon ride. After he enjoyed a nice steak dinner with his family, and he was even patient enough to wait for his food while it was being prepared for him. What a good puppy! The next thing to check off Finn's bucket list was something that included the whole family. Since Cynthia and Robert knew that they loved each other and that they couldn't get married without their Finn by their side, they made a decision. On August of 2018, they tied the knot. Finn also got to visit different places around the town. Cynthia and Robert brought Finn to the fire station to check out the trucks and meet the firemen. He also got to take his very first ride in the front seat of a police car. Hopefully, they let him put on the sirens for a bit. Finn was having the time of his life, but unfortunately, the cancer started to take over. Sadly, the chemo wasn't working and Finn was slipping away. We knew he was dying, but we tried to make him happy, explained Cynthia. So it was time to throw Finn a party. Finn had a blast at his party, and he even got to eat his very first hamburger. Things were beginning to look grim for Finn, so Cynthia and Robert knew they needed to start checking off more things on his bucket list. During his last few months, Finn got to watch a sunset on top of his favorite mountain. He even ran a 5K to burn off all that weight from the extra treats he was getting. Finn also got to eat a lobster in Maine. Finn was able to spend the rest of his life surrounded by family and love. Sadly, on November 3rd, 2018, while his family was lying by his side, Finn peacefully slipped away from this world. As broken as their hearts were, Cynthia and Robert knew that Finn had lived a happy life filled with love and adventure. Finn was able to check off 49 of the items on his bucket list, but there was one thing left to do. After Finn was diagnosed, the couple began to write a book about Finn's life of courage and adventure. They wanted to make sure that other families were dealing with the loss of a pet or had a pet who was diagnosed with cancer had a resource to look for help. It's not exactly cheap to publish a book, and a lot of couples' money went to spoiling Finn as much as possible. So the couple turned to GoFundMe to raise funds to have a book published. As of December, they've managed to raise more than half of the money needed. They even promised to donate any extra money to the National Canine Cancer Foundation. the Live Like Rue Foundation, and Emma's Foundation for Canine Cancer, which would help continue Finn's list by helping other dogs with cancer. If you'd like to help support Finn's book project, please make a donation on GoFundMe.